to tonight's Royal Bedtime Story. Are you cozy under your blankets? Good, because tonight we're going on a magical journey back in time to meet a real-life princess. She wasn't born in a grand palace or with sparkling crowns. No, this little girl lived in an attic and stitched her own dresses. But one day, she grew up to become a queen loved by millions. Her name was Alexandra of Denmark, and this is the true story of how a kind-hearted princess became a shining star of the British royal family. So snuggle in, close your eyes, and let's begin our royal tale. She was born in a tiny attic in Denmark, but rose to become Queen of Great Britain, Empress of India, and one of the most admired royals in history. This is the inspiring, bittersweet journey of Alexandra of Denmark, the rags-to-riches queen who captured the hearts of millions. In 1844 in Copenhagen, Denmark. She was a princess, yes, but her family was far from wealthy. She and her sister shared a small attic room and made their clothes. Her father, Prince Christian, earned just £800 a year as an army officer, barely enough to support their large family. Life was modest, but filled with love and warmth. Then, in 1852, everything changed. Prince Christian was named heir to Denmark's childless king. By 1863, he became King Christian IX, and Alexandra was now a genuine royal princess. At the same time, in Britain, Queen Victoria was searching for a bride for her son, Prince Albert Edward, known as Bertie. She chose Alexandra, drawn to her beauty and good nature. But Bertie wasn't ready for marriage. He was busy with parties and a scandalous affair with an actress. His father, Prince Albert, tried to stop him, but tragically died of typhoid shortly after. Queen Victoria, crushed, blamed Bertie and insisted he marry Alexandra. Out of guilt, he agreed. On March 10, 1863, they married at Windsor Castle. It was a quiet wedding, but the people adored Prince Alexandra. Alexandra brought joy to the royal family. She and Bertie created a fashionable social circle known as the Marlborough House set. Unlike the reserved Queen Victoria, Alexandra loved meeting people and attending public events. Her charm, kindness, and grace made her one of the most beloved royals of her time. Alexandra and Edward had 6 children, but childbirth took a heavy toll on her body. Their first son, Albert Victor, was born 2 months early. Later, a severe illness left Alexandra with a limp, which oddly became a fashionable trend. Her hearing also declined, leaving her nearly deaf by middle age. But despite it all, she remained strong and happiest at home with her children. In 1892, Alexandra's world shattered. Her eldest son, Albert Victor, died suddenly at just 28 years old. She later said, "I buried my happiness with him." His death meant that her next son, George, would now become king. When Queen Victoria died in 1901, Bertie became King Edward VII, and Alexandra became queen. The coronation was delayed by illness, but finally happened in 1902. Alexandra was already beloved by the people. She supported hospitals, charities, and military families, and became the first queen to visit the House of Commons. She fulfilled her royal duties with grace, even as Edward continued his affairs. She once said, He may have loved others, but in the end, he loved me the most. In 1910, while Alexandra was in Greece, news came that the king was seriously ill. She rushed home just in time. Edward VII died after suffering heart attacks. In a touching act of kindness, Alexandra even allowed his mistress to say goodbye. She was now Queen Mother, and her son George took the throne. World War I changed everything. Alexandra's nephew, Tsar Nicholas II of Russia, was murdered, along with his family. A whole branch of her family was gone. She supported her son's decision to change the royal family's name from its German roots. Now they were known as the House of Windsor. After decades of duty, loss, and quiet endurance, Queen Alexandra stepped into a life of stillness. She moved away from the constant events and ceremonies and settled quietly at Sandringham House, surrounded by her pets, her gardens, and a small circle of trusted staff. But while the world slowed down for her, the royal family's troubles hadn't ended. Her daughter-in-law, Queen Mary, was struggling with the demands of modern monarchy. And Alexandra, the once vibrant, fashionable royal, found herself gently pushed aside. She was no longer the center of attention, and she knew it. Here's the twist. Despite being loved by the people, Alexandra began to feel like a relic of a past age. Her Danish accent, her old-world grace, her dislike of German influence. The palace was changing, the world was changing, and Alexandra was quietly fading from it. But there was one thing she never let go of: her letters to her lost son, Albert Victor. Even in her 70s, she would still write to him. They were never sent, of course, just placed in a drawer, sealed with care. It was her way of keeping him alive. On November 20th, 1925, Alexandra of Denmark passed away peacefully at the age of 80. A quiet heart attack ended the life of a woman who had once been at the very center of Europe's royal web. She was buried beside her husband, King Edward VII, at Windsor Castle, where they were married over 60 years before. But this time, there was no royal parade, no grand fanfare, just the soft mourning of a nation, and the deep silence of a mother finally reunited, at least in spirit, with her lost son. And yet, Alexandra's legacy didn't fade. She had helped humanize the royal family. She brought style, warmth, and emotional connection to a monarchy that had long felt cold and distant. And here's something beautiful. Many of the traditions she started, visiting hospitals, attending charities, walking among the people, are still carried on by modern royals today. From a tiny attic in Copenhagen to the thrones of Europe, to the pages of history, Queen Alexandra's story is more than just royalty. It's a story of grace, grief, quiet power, and a woman who found strength in silence and love even in loss. Queen Alexandra's life was one of elegance, sacrifice, and quiet strength. She gave the monarchy a heart and gave the people a queen they truly loved. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed her story, be sure to like, subscribe, and join us for more royal tales. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed her story, be sure to like, subscribe, and join us for more royal tales.